Welcome to the Glitch Tales, a world full of magic and mysteries. Max refused to move. Days had passed, but he still sat by the door, ears perked, waiting for footsteps that never came. But then, one night, he heard something. A sound outside, a voice. Could it be? The house was silent. Too silent. The kind of silence that felt heavy, like the walls themselves knew something was missing. Max lay curled by the front door, his golden fur rising and falling with each slow breath. He hadn't eaten much. He hadn't played. He was waiting for Henry. But Henry wasn't coming home. And Max refused to believe that. Days turned into nights. Neighbors noticed the lonely dog. Some knocked on the door, leaving food and water outside, hoping he'd eat. Some even tried calling out to him, coaxing him away from that spot. But Max barely moved. His eyes stayed on the door, his ears twitching at every passing car, every crunch of leaves, every distant voice. Inside, the house was untouched. Henry's chair still had the imprint of where he always sat. His slippers, slightly worn out, were still tucked neatly by the couch. His scent was everywhere but fading. Max could feel it, and it scared him. One evening, a neighbor named Sarah left a bowl of food just outside.
"Come on, boy,"
she said softly. Max sniffed the air but didn't move. His heart wasn't in it. The nights were the hardest. The darkness stretched long, and the house, once filled with Henry's voice, his humming, the creak of his old chair, was now an empty shell. Then one night, something changed. Max's ears twitched. A sound, a rustling outside. It wasn't just the wind this time. He knew that sound. Footsteps, a voice, faint, carried by the cold night air. His tail thumped once, then twice against the wooden floor. He lifted his head, eyes wide, and bolted to the door. His heart pounded. He sniffed frantically at the crack beneath the door, whimpering. Was it Henry? Max barked, pawing at the door, his entire body trembling with anticipation. He could hear something, someone, just beyond the porch. The scent was faint, but familiar. He barked again, louder this time. The door didn't open. The voice faded. The footsteps drifted away. Silence. Max whined, stepping back. His tail slowed. The hope in his eyes dimmed. He stood there for a long time before finally turning back to his spot by the door. He curled up again, letting out a deep sigh, and closed his eyes. Alone. The next morning, Rachel, another neighbor of Henry's, found Max still there, his nose resting against the bottom of the door. She sighed, running a gentle hand through his fur.
"He's not coming back, is he?"
she politely asked. Max didn't respond. He just stared at the door, waiting, hoping. The days stretched on, each one blending into the next. Max never truly left the door. He ate and drank a little, but his eyes never stopped searching. The house remained still, frozen in time. And Max, he continued to wait. What happens next? Subscribe to find out.